This is a 3 to 4 pound cut up chicken here. Now in Trini style, we'd like to season our meat. So the first thing, if you're going to do a curry, you can just season it with green seasoning, some onions, pepper if you want, and you can add some, I have some red pepper flakes here. Again, if you want the heat, not much, and some any type of all-purpose seasoning or complete seasoning of your choice. Now you can mix this up, and also some black pepper. But if you're going to do a stew, or today we're going to do a pilau later, you can add some ketchup and some soy sauce. I like to add the soy sauce, most Trinidadians don't, but it kind of helps me to eliminate the amount of brown sugar I'll be using later down, and it also adds a wonderful flavor. So we're going to alright, so also with this we're going to add some black pepper. So I'm just freshly grounding some black pepper here. Just add a really wonderful depth of flavor if you freshly ground it yourself, as opposed to buying the pre-packaged one. At least you know what is going into it, and you just add as much as you desire. You mix it, and as I said before, we are doing a pilau with this recipe. So prior to putting in the ketchup and the soy sauce, you can use that same type of season meat for your curries. Alright, so we just season it up, let it marinate for at least 30 minutes to overnight, depending on how much time you have, and then I'll see you in the next step. So we have some frozen pigeon peas. If you have fresh available, that is all fine, but you can boil it in the stove if it is fresh. But today I'm just going to use some hot water and let it soak for a few minutes. Alright, so you're going to do the cooking process now. I'm going to add some oil to my pot here. You can add about a tablespoon to 2. You don't need that much. And I'm going to add the about a quarter cup or 1 pot spoon of sugar. And now this is Pelau. You need the extra sugar for the browning, right? And you will add a little bit more than the stew that you saw us did earlier. And also, if you are trying to eliminate the amount of sugar you use, a good little tip is you can add molasses. It's probably a bit low in calorie, or you can up the amount of soy sauce you use. But you know, traditionalists will say you do not use soy sauce in your pilau, but for those who are looking for an alternative to the amount of sugar that you'll typically use, you can add a little extra soy sauce that will give the color that you want. Alright, the desired brown, nice amber color that is traditionally associated with pilau. So those are just some options if you're trying to lower the number of calories or sugar in your pilau, especially for those who are diabetics. Alright, so we're going to let this brown. And now some people are intimidated by browning sugar. It is not hard. I have been doing this since I was like 12 years old. And what you need to do is just monitor your temperature. Once you see it starts to melt like this here, you'll see it floating up. Once it floats up and it goes down and it starts to change the color, you have to have your meat very much close by, and you can throw it in one time. If you want a darker stew or a darker pilau, you can let it go a little bit more, but you have to take into consideration if you leave the stew the browning part a bit too long and get too brown, it will be bitter. Right, but it's all again your preference. If you like it a little bit sweeter or not, you decide how you like to do it. So we're just going to leave it like brown. And so as you could see, what I was saying earlier, it's floating up really nicely here. You're going to just let it go. So what I'll do, it will start to smoke up. So you can, if you're hearing some background noise with my vent, it's just because I don't want the whole entire house smoking up. But it will smoke up a bit. You can see here that it's floating up, and it's starting around the edges, starting to get very caramel and brown. So at this point you can't put it, but it will be a bit sweet. So I'm just going to let it go until I see a nice deep amber brown. Alright, so Alright, so I'm going to throw it in now and just leave it. Well, that aroma here is just filling the air so beautifully. So you can leave it a little bit, but I'll just stir and just we want to just leave it for a few minutes, just the natural juices from the chicken to dry down a bit, and then we will add our washed and drained rice, parboiled rice to be exact. Alright, so let's just leave this for just a few minutes and we'll leave it. Alright, so welcome back. I've added about 3 cups of rice here. I'm going to add that pigeon peas that I had soaking earlier. And I'm going to mix it up really well. As you can see, chicken is having already taken up that very beautiful color from the browning. And I'm going to add some pumpkin in a little while. And if you want, it's not traditionally done, you can add some carrots and corn. Now traditionalists will not use that, but I like, our family like the taste of the corn and the carrot. Add some color as well as some beautiful flavor as well, sweet, additional sweetness. So in the next step you will see that I'm also I'm forgetting our coconut milk, which is very important in pilau. So I'm going to add about 2 cups of coconut milk as well as some hot water. Alright, so see you in the next few steps. Hi, this is our finished dish. So during the time it was cooking, it took about half an hour to fully cook properly. I added some additional coconut milk and just some cooking margarine. If you want, you can add that. I also added some pimento and the corn and our pumpkin and so forth to finish off the dish. Now our family do not like a wet pilau, so for those who like the wet pilau, you can add additional liquid and keep it that way, but we like it a little bit more on the drier side. And we also pair this up with some beautiful homemade coleslaw that was made with our homemade mayonnaise. So you could see that also in our channel, so you can take a look at that to see how to make it. So this is our finished product, our beautiful Trini Pelau, our version, the way how our family loves it. So hope you give it a try.